Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. There's been a couple of day delays between the releases of these videos, and I apologize for that. I'd mentioned in an earlier episode that I was just kind of feeling tired and out of it and wasn't feeling inspired. It turned out that I was actually had some kind of weird sickness that is currently going away right now, so I'm glad for that. Yeah, you don't want me doing circuit stuff when I'm sick. It makes very interesting things happen. I know I've seen me do it, although it may be a little bit entertaining for some. For most of us, it's just kind of a big waste of time, which this may actually turn out to be. But yeah, anyway, I apologize for that. Hopefully, there was that, and then there was some YouTube technical difficulties I was having with trying to upload videos, and they weren't uploading. I would set them to upload, and I'd come back the next morning, and they'd be at like 7% done. And then I'd re-upload them, and then they'd get up to like 8%. I don't know what was going on there. It seems like it's working out now. If this video gets posted to YouTube, I guess we'll see. But I think I got this all set up. I'm not going to say correctly. I think I got it set up where it will work. And it turned out to be just a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I thought this would simplify things a little bit. Turned out it made it a little bit more complex. But I think it's going to work. So let's go up here and we'll just let this stuff go. We will roll the intro, and I will get back with you shortly, and we'll see if this is going to work at all, and if it does, what I have done here with all these crazy wires. Alright, so this thing is running right now, and we are creating some green circuits and things, so let's just take a look. We set this up, I believe, in the last episode, and it's pretty much the way that it was. All the red wires are hooked up to all the machines that are bringing in, and the green wire is hooked up to the machine that is sending out the circuits. The red wire is coming back and going into this counter. Now, this counter right here is only for this branch right here. It's tracking the iron and the copper that are being added to the belt, and then it's subtracting the iron copper that are being used. The green signal, which is the green circuits that are coming out, is going out onto this network, which I have this counter right here, which is kind of like the setup as a whole, where this counter is just counting this individual loop. This one right here is counting the whole setup as a whole. And the amount of green circuits that we have coming in here really, it only applies to the circuit as a whole, not necessarily everything. It has nothing to do with what's going on in here. The green and the copper and the iron that's coming in here. We just want to create the green circuits, right? So that's what that is doing. Coming down here to the next level, then, we have this being fed into here, which is creating all of our red circuits. This whole second section is for red circuits. I have an input priority right here, or output priority right here, I should say, so that we are prioritizing all our green circuits over there. All of the extras are going down into the other part, because we want to make sure we have the red circuits. If we're not producing red circuits here, the green circuits aren't being eaten up down here, so it's kind of pointless to flood this area down here with green circuits if we're not getting all the reds that we need. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. I do have a set of counters right here, and this set of counters right here is keeping track of what is in this loop, and this one, again, is wired up here and is keeping track of what is in the outermost circle. Most of these, like the plastic, is pulling out is pulling out the charcoal. We're getting petroleum from over there, but still the same idea, and sending the plastic out onto the line. That is going into the inner network, where it's being counted there. And, of course, we're basically controlling the amount of coal that comes on based on what is pulled out here. So all these are tied up into there. Same thing with the wire makers. Same thing with petroleum. The only difference here is the red circuits. And due to the way that I have set this up, we've actually got two things going on. Now, there's a couple of ways we could have gone about this. but some of them were making my brain hurt. The simplest and probably easiest to follow approach that I have taken here is to put a couple of filter inserters right here. One that is pulling in the copper cable and the plastic bar, and the other one that is pulling in the electronic circuits. Now, why is that? Well, the copper wire and the plastic bar, that is only relevant inside this circle, only relevant in here, whereas the green circuit is relevant inside this circuit because we're controlling how many green circuits we need right here, but it's also relevant outside because these inserters right here need to know how many green circuits we need to make in order for them to limit themselves. So yeah, that's a couple of different things going on there. And then we have this circuit that is tied up to the red circuit. So what I did was I took this inserter and this inserter, and I've wired them up to a network that is coming through on the power poles in the middle. So all of those inserters are on this red-green network, whereas all the inserters that are just concerned about the inner loop here, this red circuit thing, are being hooked up to this outside loop. So these are the ones that are basically counting and controlling what comes in over here on this side, whereas the inner loop is more concerned with what is being produced on the outside. Now we have a further complication in that the green signal that's coming through here, and that should be the only thing coming in on this red wire, is just a little green pulse whenever one of the green circuits gets taken. That is relevant both up here for this count, and it's also relevant over here for the count of these guys. So if I just sent this red onto this signal, if I just sent that over there, it's not going to work. It's going to back flood signals and things like that, and it turns into a big giant mess. Trust me, I've seen it happen. So what I did was I took the red signal coming out here and sending it into a couple of combinators here, where I'm just adding 0 to it and then outputting that. So basically what that is doing is that is taking that green circuit signal, adding 0 to it, and sending it into the back of this combinator, where that is basically controlling this over here. And it's also preventing a backflow of red signals of coming on and polluting this network, which is really the reason that is there, is to prevent that backflow. And then we're doing the same thing over here, where we're just converting that signal over, just basically sending it out over here. The only reason we're doing that is to prevent the backflow of all the red signals on the red wire for coming in and polluting this network. So we're just basically kind of splitting those out. Now, there probably could have been a way to do that, to do everything on the exact same network and to use a series of combinators to kind of isolate those signals. But I didn't do that. This seemed to be a little bit more straightforward. So again, whenever a green circuit pulse comes through here, we're going to read it through here, send it up to this network, read it up here, send it through that network. And by doing this, we are preventing this network from polluting this network, and these two networks from polluting each other. It seems to be working out. Okay. And then down here at the bottom, we have everything else being made, and seems to be working out okay. It looks like most if not all of our purple machines are going. What's your problem? You are waiting for tracks. Oh, you are actually backed up. I see. Why are you backed up? Oh, because your condition didn't get set there. All right. That didn't go over. Sorry about that. Why aren't you going? You are waiting for some productivity modules, and those should be coming out here very soon. But yeah, no, this network here, well, there's actually two networks here. There's one network that is coming back up into here. This is basically the main big network, and we're controlling our iron, steel, stone brick coming in from there. The red circuits, we're just taking them all. That is part of the big one, as well as the green circuits. That is part of the big one as well. So that should just balance itself out. And then we have our purple science count that's coming in through here. That's just going to shut off these inserters should that occur. Yeah, and that is that. We'll just have to see if this is going to work out over time. Now, I originally set all the numbers here for just one science a minute, but I've ended up like kind of reducing that a little bit because we have everything's a lot closer. So it's actually was causing some flooding on the belt. So for example, for things like railroad track, I've got it set for 400. No, that's not right. I thought I had that set for less. We could set it for less. We basically need 30 every 21 seconds is what that equates to. And we have 9, 3 times 9 would be 27. So I think just to add a number of 270, I think we'd actually end up with enough railroad track for basically everybody involved, and it would leave a little bit of space on the belt. Let's try that. Yeah, because this is just polluted so much with that. It's good that it's out there so these guys can grab it. It's just that I don't think we need that many. Because, you know, that's for a minute, right? And we don't need the items per minute out on this belt. Everything's just packed in way too close right now for us to need to worry about that. All right, but let's just take a look. Let's go out 1 minute. We are making 60. That was 63. I'm going to close it. that was looking very good as far as that is concerned. I think we just need to let it run for a little bit to see if there are any problems with it, which I'm sure there probably will be. We have a train that is out of gas. I've been running into that a lot lately, especially with these trains up here. So let's get up there and see if we can't take care of that. We weren't using any petroleum at all, which was making it to where these trains that were running all the time, that were running fluids, were running out of fuel because we weren't producing any solid fuel for them to, because those are all fueled, of course, off of solid fuel. But we should be producing solid fuel now, maybe? Maybe not. We're producing purple science. We're making that. That's good. Right as we round up the very last purple science thing that we can make. Oh, fantastic. Let's see. Do we have anything that could be used as fuel? This could be used as fuel. Let's use that as fuel. You are out of fuel as well. Let's just go ahead and kind of share alike. Get you guys just at least moving a little bit. Why are you not moving? Okay, you are moving. Okay, and that train pulling in the petroleum will get petroleum being made right there, and that should kick on. I just get hit by a train, and that should kick on our solid fuel makers again, so these trains can then refuel themselves. All right, that is looking good. I'm not happy with this nuclear setup, not even a little bit. In case you were worried about that, it just seems to be a little bit too haphazard for my taste. And while it'll be fine, it's not something that I'm particularly proud about. It's something I try to fight in my Factorio series. I think I've told the story before about my old boss that would talk about the pyramids. They were meant to be big giant cubes. That was the plan. But as they got to working on them and building them, it was such a big project that as projects tend to go as they get long, it just kind of turns out that it just gets smaller. The scope gets smaller and smaller and smaller to finally, at the end, what they ended up with was the pyramids. And I'm trying not to do that. I don't want. We want to focus on the cube, right? We want to end with a cube, not with. We don't want to settle here for getting smaller as this goes. How is this working? Why are you not working? That is a question that I have. Were you never seated? Was that the problem? I don't think you were ever seated. Why are you not? Why are you not? Oh, we need our 2. We need 2 little blips right there to go ahead and kick that off. All right, so right now we're controlling this by this right here, and we are saying if you are detecting anything at all, you just don't make anything. And this is just haphazardly, I believe, just dumping items out on a belt, just for no reason at all. Get back here, guy. And this is basically just burning uncontrollably all the time. For no reason at all. Okay, let's see. Let's set up a couple of large power lines here, and let's get this hooked up. Okay, so that gives us all of the stuff that we currently have in reserve. And let's take this on down to that inserter right there. And let's enable that inserter. Let's not make that a stack inserter. Let's make that just like a fast inserter. And enable you when the fuel is maybe less than... Well, we got 4 of them, so let's say 12, because that should burn at a good rate. And do you have an even stack size? You do. So once that gets down... That'll buffer up all of the nuclear fuel, or uranium fuel cells into this chest until that is there. So let's take this and just limit it, maybe? Let's see. Let's think about this. I said if... What? You were less than 12, so that should be 4 items in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Enabled condition U less than 40. So those will buffer up in the train as long as there, and we'll have up to 40 of those into there, so that will limit the amount that will go out whenever that comes on. Does that make sense? So you're going to unload your stuff till we have 40 in this chest, and then you're not going to unload. It's just going to buffer up that fuel inside that train car. We have 40 in there, and there will be only 40 in there, maybe 42, depending on how that inserter goes over. Your stack size is 10, so it should be fairly spot on. Until that gets below that threshold, which is less than 12, and then you're going to start sending that stuff out. There's only going to be 40 items in that chest, so unless there's a train right here, that's going to limit you basically to throwing 40 items out, and we'll hope that that gets down there before the train comes back. It's not perfect, and it doesn't really matter if that goes a little bit over. It's just to kind of slow down the production of things, right? just to put a little bit of control on it. So we don't end up with 30,000 uranium fuel cells, which it looks like we currently do. All right, let's run down here and see basically how that's going to interact with down here. I don't think there's much else we really need to change down here. What kind of fuel do you have? Okay, you do notice a little bit the difference between coal and solid fuel. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come back here. You... 1 second of inactivity must be more than, must be more time than one of these stack inserters takes. That doesn't technically need to be a stack inserter. I think we could set that as a fast inserter, and we would just be fine. So maybe we didn't need to fix that both ways. We'll leave that at 2. And yeah, I messed with that, so it sent it on. But oh no, actually we did use it all. Okay, and that will produce until this starts to back up again, and then that'll stop. Not a very scientific process right there. Not a very well-controlled process, but I think it's controlled in such a way that it'll at least work. And all of those are looking good. I think so. What do we need to do now? Let's run up here to science and just see how things are progressing there. Now that we are actually making purple science and using purple science, we could have just walked. It's just right there. Okay, so you're coming back. So we are completely buffering up on science here. And that's buffering up here, which due to the stack size of science, we're just gonna create tons of it. Well, I think I'm good with that for now. We might want to control that a little bit more later. But I think I'm at the point now. Let's take a look just down here at purple and make sure that nothing is looking very, very terrible. All the purple science machines are currently running, with the exception of one. And you are missing productivity modules. And you look like you're missing red circuits. We might have to make a little bit of adjustment here and there, because we're coming up a little short right now. But it's performing a whole lot better than it was before, and we're not backing up anywhere or anything. Do these numbers? Can we see these numbers? Yes. Do any of those look crazy or out of control? No. We actually have enough furnaces out here now, which is kind of a crazy thing to look at, but is appreciated. We're actually looking at the productivity modules right now that are bringing us down a little bit. But it looks like all the machines are running right now, so that's good. Let's just come down. I'm just gonna go and turn on all the science now. I think we should be in a good spot. The problem we have is with power. We didn't want anything to do with the power being shut off, but I think we're beyond that right now. I think power should be well under control, so we can go ahead and get some of this stuff made. Mostly, I just want a resource sink for all this stuff. That's really the end goal with this. Get all the trains running again. And just get the factory running and make sure that everything is looking all right. You know what? I'm completely confident in all this. I'm not even going to double check it. We're just going to let that thing go. I'm also curious as far as trains, if we actually have enough trains to make all of this work. I'm sure we do. And yeah, I guess really this purple science is just going to buffer up because I don't know that we have any more purple science after this. It's all going to be yellow. Yep. Yellow, 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 yellow. Yep, we've done it all. Well, that is pretty good timing there. All right, so yellow science is next. Processing units, flying robot frames, and low-density structure. Low-density structure is very straightforward, just copper and steel and plastic. The flying robot frames, though, are a little bit more involved. We need an electric engine unit, which requires an engine unit. Batteries. Oh boy. That's going to be a fun one. These 20 electronic circuits. Yeah, that's going to be huge. Something like this, but just with a lot more. Should be fun. Should be fun. Yeah, Kitch, you're the one that wanted to do this crazy stuff. No sense in complaining about it now. Well, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next episode, where if we don't get started on doing the yellow science, there's a couple of other things that we need to do. I'd like to do something about the mall. Also, our refining setup is going to need to be modified as well. Did we ever find any more oil? I think so. We got a big patch of coal up there. We might have to look into doing some coal liquefaction, which is something I've never really done before. So it might be something that we look into. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.